Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BMI Baby Elite Ice Hockey League, where the 8th place Basingstoke Bison are playing host to the 1st place Coventry Blaze. Hello, folks. Well, first of all, I have to wish you a very Merry Christmas. This is our last game heading into my favorite time of the year, and I'm going to give you a present. 2 hours of Dave Sims.
What else could anybody want, Nick?
Merry Christmas, buddy. How are you?
Merry Christmas to you, mate. I can see you got the old playoff beard going already.
Well, no, it's not a playoff beard. It's for a fancy dress party.
Okay, so, well, yeah. You look pretty good in it.
Okay.
Who are you supposed to be?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Anyway, we've some departures from Basingstoke. A new guy in for Coventry. Let's go through that.
Well, that's right. Wes Jarvis, the latest departure from the Basingstoke Bison. It hasn't been easy, has it, for Ryan Aldridge this year? His first year as a head coach, he knew it was going to be a tough job, but players have left on a fairly regular basis. They've even had a new owner, and it's going to take time for new ownership to get a grip of this Basingstoke Bison team and bring that stability that Aldridge will want as a coach. But Jarvis, the latest departure, and that has to hurt Basingstoke.
And Troy Newmeyer, the veteran defenseman, in on the Coventry Blaze blue line.
Well, things just happened well for the Coventry Blaze, didn't they? They lost a couple of players to injury. We talked about Cloutier, we talked about Nader missing, and then all of a sudden, when Troy Newmeyer just turns up on your plate, it's only for 3 or 4 games to start off with. Right. But it wouldn't surprise me if he stays in that lineup a little bit longer.
All right, Dave, well, let's have a look at last weekend's results. Week 15, and Basingstoke beating Hull 3-1. Cardiff and Newcastle, that was a close one, 2-1 in overtime, and Manchester beating Edinburgh. And then Coventry Blaze going down 2-0 to Belfast. That's a big one.
It is a big one, but is it too little too late? But Belfast, of course, have that firepower. I must admit, I didn't know whether their defence would be that strong, but all credit to Ed Corney and his team.
What about Newcastle beating Sheffield? That helped them.
That was a heartbreak for me, that one was, but fair play to Newcastle. Short-handed, and they put their bodies on the line and they came out on top.
Let's have a look at the league table heading into the weekend. Coventry with 41 points in those games in hand, but Newcastle hopping over Sheffield.
They are, and every time a team gets on a run, every time Coventry loses, other teams lose as well. You know, whether it be Cardiff, Newcastle or Sheffield, none of them are putting that consistent run together to get close to the Coventry Blaze, which is a pity.
Okay, we're heading into the festive spirit. I know you stuck your neck on the line a while ago saying that Coventry are going to win that game back in Sheffield. Now, with all the things that are going on, with movement, with injuries, are you still going to say that right now?
I don't think there's anybody in the country, honestly, that would bet against the Coventry Blaze right now, though they do have a very tough Christmas, probably the toughest Christmas of any of the teams in the league. Nottingham, Belfast, Sheffield, all of those teams. So, if Coventry are going to cough it up, then this is the period they're going to do it. But I just think they have a little bit too much, Nick. I wish that wasn't the case, but I think it will be.
And of course, it's nice and cold in this rink. It's a good atmosphere for the home team, but not for the away team.
Health and safety should be brought into this place. It is absolutely freezing. Layers, I can tell you. You want to see what's below the camera here, folks. There's a lot of layers. But you know what? It is cold. It is proper ice hockey in a rink like this. But I really do think they could get some warmth in this building. Then maybe a few more people would turn up and watch.
All right. Well, earlier on, you caught up with both head coaches. Here's what they had to say.
Ryan, they never said coaching would be easy, and another tough night tonight, but more players have left the Bison. It can't be easy being the head coach here.
No, it's definitely been a eventful season. The one way I look at it is it's never going to be as bad as this, I hope, and hopefully it'll make us all stronger and we'll move on next year.
Those players that have stayed have showed great loyalty and commitment to the Bison, and they're giving you everything they've got right now.
Yeah, the shorter we're benched, the harder the guys are working right now, and we definitely can't fault them for that. Sunday's game we lost one mental mistake at the end of a long weekend, so I can't knock the boys for anything that's happened. The guys have been awesome. They work every shift, every night. So.
Of course, it's only an easy one tonight, top of the table, Coventry.
Yeah, obviously Coventry, have always got a deep lineup. I know they've got a couple of bodies missing tonight as well, but they constantly come hard. They're coached, really well coached. They all stick to the system and they come hard all night. And I think we just got to, be prepared for that, weather the storm in the first couple of periods and see what we can get out of them.
Paul, no Huppy, no Cloutier. How will that affect the Blaze tonight?
Well, David, like anything, I mean, they're 2 out of our top 3 goal scorers, so, we're going to miss them from that point of view, but we got Troy Newmeyer, he's come in, and we can go with 5D tonight. We haven't been able to do that for about 7-8 weeks, and just means other guys stepping up and, getting that secondary scoring, that new word that everybody's using right now.
This is never an easy place to come, is it? A cold, damp rink, little atmosphere if the place isn't full. How do away teams cope with that?
Well, I think you have to create your own atmosphere, David, because if you don't, you're going to lose. They've got talent there, and if you don't come and you don't, execute your game plan, you're gonna lose a game. They have enough quality players to do that.
And this is one of your games in hand. You can extend your league tonight.
We have to. We didn't win. Belfast beat us, and undeserved to on the night in Sunday at the Sky Dome, and we're hoping to get back to winning ways tonight.
Dave, at the beginning of the year, one of Ryan Aldridge's great acquisitions, I thought, was Stevie Lyle. He's departed to Belfast, and in is Curtis Cruikshank. He's one of your guys to watch.
Well, definitely, Curtis Cruikshank. When your team is low on numbers, your goalie has to play well. We said the same last week in Hull. We say it now. Cruikshank has to be big. It's his third spell with this Basingstoke team. He has an affinity here. He likes a lot of shots. He's going to get a lot of shots tonight because the Coventry Blaze are going to fire more rubber at him. He's going to see more rubber than a dead cat on the M1. And he has to be strong, he has to be big, and he has to play really, really well.
You're starting to use old lines again, eh?
I know. I'm sorry.
And Calder for Coventry, you've got to keep an eye on him.
Adam Calder. He's the guy that's going to be firing the puck at him more than probably anybody. I think after Ed Courtney, the most natural goal scorer in the entire league.
But he's a great two-way player as well.
Well, he's nasty, he's gritty, he'll run his grandmother over for $1. I mean, he brings everything to the table. He's the kind of player that you really want. That's why he was an all-star in the Central League, and that's why he's been probably one of the very, very best players the Coventry Blaze have ever had.
Dave, a lot of head coaches will say that they can win games if their players out there execute the systems. And it's about playing to a system, isn't it? And both these teams tonight, it's going to be about executing and not making any mistakes.
Well, limiting your mistakes, certainly, as far as the Basingstoke Bison are concerned, because they are short on bodies. Their first lines, they match up pretty well, but then when you get into that third line, then that's where Paul Thompson will expect the Coventry team to really be explosive.
All right, Dave. Well, folks, coming up, first period action after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks. It's Christmas time, and I'm happy. Dave, are you?
I'm very happy. I'm blooming cold, but I'm very happy. And I'll be happy when, the Basingstoke Bison, can they improve their league position? Can they cement a position in the playoffs? Can the Coventry Blaze increase their lead at the top of the BMI Baby Elite League?
Let's have a look at the Coventry Blaze.
Big key, Trevor Koenig, the goaltender. Some say the best goaltender in the BMI Baby Elite League. Blessed with great offence from their defence are the Coventry Blaze, Martin, and especially the outstanding Jonathan Weaver. Will this be the game that James Pease gets his first goal in 9 seasons? Yes, 9 seasons the Blaze have been waiting. They've even got T-shirts ready and waiting. Up front, where are the goals going to come from? No Cloutier and no Huppy. Look no further than Adam Calder, Dan Carlson, and a new line mate tonight, Barry Moore. That's a pretty impressive first unit.
And their starting lineup will be Carlson between Calder and Moore, with Martin and Weaver on the points, with, like you say, arguably the best goalie in the league, Koenig, between the pipes.
The Basingstoke Bison, of course, they are without so many players. They've lost guys this week as well. Cruikshank, a massive key to them. Joe Beard has been drafted in from the Bracknell Bees, and former Coventry Blaze player David Dickadell.
And the forward lineup, Dave. Even the refs yell like it.
The referee's waiting for us. It's Greg Owen. I think Greg Owen, who's going to center the starting lineup. Big player, and he's back with Chambers and Cruikshank. Talk us through the starting lineup, and let's get on with it.
The starting lineup will be Owen between Cruikshank and Chambers, with Dickadell and Jarvis on the points, with the other Cruikshank guarding the 2-4. Let's get at her.
Okay, referee nods. He waves at us as well. He's been waiting for us. His name is Michael Hicks. He's a 24-year-old sheep farmer from Cardiff.
I think he does do some male modeling part-time as well.
Is that right as well? He'd like to think so. It's cold here, and here's Adam Calder. Can he warm us up? Gets the puck deep. Picked up by the...
Yep.
Puck dragged off them. Shot comes in from Moore, gets deflected into the pads of Curtis Cruikshank. First whistle blows.
And Dave, you know what? I think a big factor tonight is going to be this ice surface here in Basingstoke. It is cut up. The Zambonis actually just scraped the snow off. It hasn't cut into it to cut out the grooves from the skating session that happened before, and I don't know if that's a ploy for Ryan Aldridge.
Well, you pointed out also, just as the players came on the ice, Nick, that Neil Martin was questioning the referee before a puck had even been dropped. Let's talk about that in a moment as Stewart brings the puck forward, takes Carlson around the outside, gets to his forehand, takes a shot. Second bite of the cherry, third shot comes in. And it was Derek Campbell. Koenig making a couple of important stops. Calder just lets the puck go into the corner. It's picked up by Campbell. Thornton tries to get the cycle going, gets taken down, no penalty called. Steve Thornton, strong on his feet, gets pinned by James Pease. And the Blaze will break right down the middle with Barry Moore, the former NHLer. Coulson's got Calder at the back door, comes into Moore with a snapper right into the body of Cruikshank. Collected Stewart to Chambers. And the Basingstoke Bison line of Cruikshank, that's the Cruikshank of the Brad variety, opposed to the goalie who's the Curtis variety, and there is Curtis. But Basingstoke going with that trusted line of Owen in the middle of Cruikshank and Chambers. Very successful for them last year. And as the Bison have had their few problems this year, Ryan Aldridge has stayed with that line. It is Owen who takes the shot. Soderstrom moves the puck well to Ross Cowley. Into Danny Stewart. Two Danny Stewarts tonight. Danny Stewart takes a shot. Front out front, it's Timmins. Then Weaver takes a shot. He rebounds off the knee of Danny Stewart and out into the neutral zone.
Unbelievable how Basingstoke are giving up their blue line. 2 chances for the Coventry Blaze now where they're not getting touched as they cross the blue line, and they're getting really good high quality shots away.
One of the most important things in the BMI Baby Elite League is how you start in this rink. 3-on-1 here. Weaver, is he going to drop pass? No, takes every shot into the glove of Curtis Cruikshank. And Nick, this is the most important rink for a road team to start well in, because you know what, players don't get motivated coming in here. They dress in 2 different dressing rooms, and you need to get off to a good start, and the Blaze have done that.
Yeah, and Jonathan Weaver there with a shot in on Cruikshank. Cruikshank taking in the trapper, no problem. But again, Coventry with 2 or 3 good scoring opportunities in the first couple of minutes of this game.
Paul Thompson will be happy the way his team started this game. Ryan Aldridge, who's the player coach now, started the year off as just the coach. He hoped to stay as just the coach. Thornton has the puck taken off him by Michael Tasker. He's back in the Blaze lineup today. He's had 8 weeks off. He had knee ligament damage. One of the great characters of the game, Michael Tasker. Heart and soul, and he'll forecheck. First man on the forecheck. We're going to have to talk about the Finnish defenseman as well. Peron Takanen. We're going to have to come up with another name for him during the evening, and it's certainly not going to be the one his mother gave him. Michael Tasker's going to come down the right-hand side, and Peron Takanen does come across.
We'll just call him the new guy.
The new guy. Here's Tasker, gets a puck across. Watkins with a shot, and he was bobbling and bouncing, and it just goes over Cruikshank's goal. Weaver jumps in on the plate. Eric Braff finishes on a hit, tries to chip out, but the Blaze are forechecking hard. Tasker and Watkins especially. Owen, right down the middle, takes a long wrist shot, and he gets a second bite of it and scores backhand. Greg Owen on possibly the Bison's first clear-cut chance. He took the shot, it rebounded off the defenseman Weaver's skates.
I'll tell you what, Dave, you know how I told you how Basingstoke were giving up their blue line? Coventry have been giving up the neutral zone. And again, a couple of times, Basingstoke have just flown through the neutral zone. No one on him, and that's just what happened here. And Owen gets a shot away, luckily gets the rebound, and comes back and goes to his backhand and beats Koenig.
Nice finish, actually, from a very acute angle. He had the bounce just before that. And Greg Owen finishes well. Look at the acute angle where he actually finishes from. Almost perpendicular with the actual goalposts. That was a big word, wasn't it, for a cold night? Perpendicular. I don't know if it was the right word, but it sounded good. Well, great start for the Bison, short-handed. And you heard Ryan Aldridge at the top of the show, Nick. He said, you know, the shorter benched we are, the harder we work. That's offside.
Yeah, when your back's to the wall, it brings the best out of you, and it makes you rise to the challenge. And they're playing the league leaders, and they're going at them. They're not scared by what Coventry can throw at you, and they're going to give it their all.
David Campbell had a nice little chance there, went backhand forehand. The puck just bounced off his stick. Neil Martin, giveaway. Sloppy play by Martin as he gave it to Stewart. So this is Danny Stewart of Basingstoke, opposed to the Danny Stewart of Coventry. Cruikshank clears right down the middle to Thornton, 2-on-2 with Derek Campbell to his right. Thornton smart and just tries to chip the puck forward, and Soderstrom had lost. And there's a chance for Stewart, who had far more time than he thought he had. He took the one-timer, but really, when he sees the replay, he'll want that one back again.
Yeah, it's obviously never a bad play to shoot, and everything just opened up for him on this play. The puck comes out to the high slot, and maybe he thinks he could get Koenig quickly, but he did have more time.
Well, I don't think he thought he would have that much space.
It opened up.
I mean, the camera couldn't find another player, could he, within shot?
Coventry have been lacked in their own zone and the neutral zone.
Well, this could be end-to-end stuff, actually. We could have an 8-7 tonight, maybe. We've had a few goals when we've been down here in Basingstoke. Cruikshank gets it back to our Finnish friend, Thornton.
New guy. Newbie.
There should be a rule in every sporting league. The guys with... In fact, that could be the most expensive name now in the Elite League. Well, we'll talk about Mattias Soderstrom because he's one of the true stories of this year's Be My Baby Elite League. Came into the Coventry Blaze team 77. Everybody thought he wouldn't see the first 6 weeks. I think if he was being honest, he may have thought that as well. And he just ground out his position and has become one of the most steady defencemen in the league. And absolutely invaluable to Paul Thompson and has done a marvellous job. Still Blaze with puck possession. Here's Danny Stewart, he's looking for Timmins. Timmins on a one-timer into the side of the netting. Puck rebounds round, Soderstrom couldn't get there first, Chambers did. The goal scorer Owen on the forecheck, Chambers comes in, Blaze clear through Timmins. Icing waved up when Cruikshank leaves his crease. One of the new rules in the league, of course, this season. No icing if the goalie leaves his crease, even if he doesn't touch the puck. Here's Weaver, the GB captain. David Vickerdale, who had time with Manchester and Coventry this year. Greg Wood knocks a puck forward. Koenig comes out, makes a nice play to James Cook, and the former Nottingham Panther just chips out. Ryan Aldridge, he's looking for Owen, drop pass, 2-1. Vickerdale collects and takes it into the offensive zone, can't touch it, or offside. He may have been better giving up the offside there. Turnover, Wood collects, makes a nice pass to Steve Thornton. Thornton had Aldridge ahead of him. Thornton holds onto the puck. Look at the short stick and the control that Thornton has. Centre of gravity outstanding, and his balance on a pair of skates as Wood gets it back to Aldridge. Here's Thornton again, steps inside, tries to make the fancy pass to Wood. Long shot comes in from the new defenceman Beard. We've got a little story to tell you about 49, Joey Beard. If you're wondering about his great skating ability, it's because a certain Nick Rothwell actually taught him to skate. Is that right?
You know, a couple of the guys from the Isle of Wight were friends with him, so he came down to the Isle of Wight a few times. But no, I'm not going to take credit for actually coaching him all the time because he grew up around this area. But yeah, a few of the guys that I taught on the Isle of Wight, he was always down there and showing up for practices and stuff. One of those really gritty guys, not blessed with a lot of size, but he will give you his all. He'll put his blood and guts out on the table for you.
On loan just for a couple of games from the Bracknell Bees in the English Premier League. And whilst we're on here, I think we should say a big congratulations to everybody involved in the Bracknell Bees Ice Hockey Club. There was a lot of doubt over the future of that team, but John Nike and Martin Waddell, together with the supporters club in Bracknell, have secured the future of the Bracknell Bees, one of the big names in British ice hockey, and it's a huge relief, I'm sure, for all their fans that they're going to be in business until at least the end of the year, and hopefully for a lot longer. Back to this game though, and it's the Coventry Blaze looking for that equalising goal. Martin just sunk into the play. Barry Moore gets the cycle going. Calder gets taken into the balls. Carlson collects. Dan Carlson, who Paul Thompson thinks is the best two-way centre in the league. Carlson tries to find Adam Calder. Telepathy those two boys have got, and here is Calder. Gets it back to Weaver. Long shot into Cruikshank, who just gets a bit of it. Puck's out in front. Moore can't get hold of it. And it'll be Stewart who bangs one off the glass. Derek Campbell can't collect. And Troy Newmeyer, who's just signed a 3-week contract with the Coventry Blaze. Whether that's extended, we'll have to wait and see. I should have done my homework a little bit more on Troy Newmeyer because he's only a couple of games away from 1,000 professional games, which is a fantastic achievement for any hockey player. So I'm sure he'll get those in the next week or so.
He's such a dominant defenseman in his time in Manchester, in the old league. He was one of the guys who's so professional and so solid, and he win games. You never notice him.
You don't get too much more talent than you see in that face-off circle. Stevie Thornton and Dan Carlson. Carlson with the face-off victory. Calder, and you can just see how thin some of the ice is just down below us here, where Calder just was. Calder chips in, Braff collects. Makes a simple pass. Intercepted, makes a simple pass, but Pitukanen made a bit of a pig's ear of it. And the Bison now are going to have to fight and hammer and try and get themselves out of trouble, and in doing so, the first penalty of the night is called.
Tripping call coming up to Steve Thornton there. 2 minutes for tripping, he'll be off, and Coventry Blaze, that I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to leave this to you. You jinx them. No, they're 0-9, aren't they?
The Coventry Blaze, yes. Everybody talks about the Coventry Blaze power play. Their last 9 power plays, they're 0-9. They're 29.5% on the road on their power plays, 25% overall this season. And killing penalty, the Basingstoke Bison have been short-handed 78 times, conceding just 10 power play goals. Adam Calder tries to make that 11 against. Intercepted off the ankle. Trottigan clears all the way down, collected by Koenig.
I think Coventry's power play was around 30-odd%, 33% until you opened up your mouth.
I think it was about 42% at one point. This is the 153rd time the Coventry Blaze have been on the power play this season. 38 goals for. They haven't conceded short-handed as well. Here's Weaver. Bullet. Kicked away, Cruikshank. Calder can't get there. Carlson can. Basingstoke discipline, keeping the box. Neil Martin makes so much happen. Great skater. Weaver. Bullet again. Gets deflected. Cruikshank gets to it. Loose puck. Second bite of the cherry for the Blaze. Cruikshank couldn't get his glove on that one. Carlson with a shot from the outside. Finds Martin. And of course, not the big, powerful Coventry-based power play lineup with no Huppy and no Cloutier on it. There's Barry Moore. Moore with the wrist shot. And of course, it's Moore and Martin that have come into those two places that Huppy and Cloutier have vacated with their injuries. But the Bison doing a pretty good job keeping things to the outside at the moment. Basingstoke defenseman without, it's Braff who's without a stick. He's trying to grab onto anything at the moment. Calder with a great pass. Weaver, great chance, takes a shot into the body of the defenseman. Loose puck out front. And Basingstoke with Owen will clear. And they do clear into the neutral zone. Martin, great skating work and scores! Another power play goal to the Coventry Blaze. And it looked like Basingstoke had done all the hard work. And then on an individual play by Neil Martin, we're tied at 1.
You know, Basingstoke had done a really good job on that power play, but they cleared the zone, but they didn't get it past Martin or past through the neutral zone. Martin collected it and carried it through the neutral zone, gets the shot away, and Owen kind of Owen guilty maybe of not bearing down hard on Neil Martin, pushing him to the outside and not letting him get the shot away. But I'm sure Cruikshank would like that one back.
First power play goal of the year for Neil Martin. He's 4th of the season.
I'm sure he's going to want the ice like this all the time now.
That's right, he won't be moaning about it anymore. 10 points for Neil Martin. When you see Neil Martin week in, week out, of course, he skates so well. Here's Cowley. We'll get back onto Martin in a moment. Cowley tries to get it back to Timmins. Timmins intercepted Cruikshank. Chambers is on the far side and finds him. Gets a nice bounce off the boards. Koenig comes out. Thornton can't quite get hold of it. But Neil Martin, a player that when you look at him, you think, wow, he's so offensive. He skates well, gains the zone well. But actually, he's much better defensively, I think, than he is offensively. He gets into the great defensive positions, but I just think doesn't put the big numbers on the board that you perhaps expect.
No, you're right, Dave. You know, because he is so offensive looking, he's such a great skater, and he could carry the puck through two-thirds of the ice, not a problem. No one can touch him. But you know, the guy he's getting a little bit older now. He's so smart, and he's a big guy. He's really, really strong too.
Captain of the GB team as well, Jonathan Weaver. His first year with the Coventry Blaze, joined from the Newcastle Vipers. Barry Moore. In fact, Barry Moore would have played with Troy Newmeyer in Manchester in the Storm team before returning to North America for a few seasons, before then coming back to Coventry. Stewart gets the puck out to Derek Campbell. Campbell takes a weak wrist shot, then finishes on a hit on Newmeyer. Here comes Carlson. Heads up play. Just offside, Barry Moore, not called. Well, only by the Basingstoke Bison bench.
I think the linesman gave that one to him.
Vickerdale gets the loose puck out to Campbell, and again, here comes Campbell. Campbell just knocks the puck forward. Thornton couldn't quite get there. Martin got his stick to it. And that skating just helps Martin in that defensive play, just gets into position. Here's Barry Moore, goes backhand, forehand, jab. Puck out to Carlson, and Calder gets on the end of it. Calder looks up, makes a lovely pass to Weaver. Weaver tried to feed one inside to Dan Carlson. Here's Calder, fakes the shot, steps inside, looks for a lane to shoot through. Chambers collects, right down the middle. Greg Chambers, he's a sniper, this boy. Watch this, forehand, backhand, tries to dink the puck out. And Weaver just knocks it into safe territory as Danny Stewart finishes a hit on Cruikshank. Weaver. Still Weaver. Bully Cruikshank with the save. Timmins following up there, couldn't get to the loose puck. Still with Weaver. That's a defenseman playing in the office behind the goal. And he gets the freedom. 2-on-2 break, Owen's a spare man. Cruikshank's there to take the shot. Went straight between the eyes of Trevor Koenig. Koenig got his head out of the way. And just in time as well. He's a big man, that Chambers, and he doesn't have to get some lumber on it. Our Finnish friend just tries to chip the puck into the corner. Thornton. Danny Stewart of the Blaze. And they're trying those long shots. Every time Coventry get a chance, they're trying the long shot. Penalty coming in against Ryan Aldridge, the player coach of the Bison. It's a tripping minor. I think it was more accidental, but he tripped KC Timmins. And another power play.
There's a shot coming in from, and there's the tripping there. I'd like to get the stats on the amount of hits, because it's not a very physical game. It's one of those games that you wouldn't mind playing. It's so open, and both teams really guilty of not finishing their checks. And this neutral zone is just free zone. It's like, guys, here's a green light, skate through the neutral zone. We're not going to touch you.
End-to-end stuff here in Basingstoke. BMI Baby Elite League action with the Coventry Blaze on the power play on the road in Basingstoke. Barry Moore with a snapper. Coventry have the best power play on the road. Here's Calder. Calder shot it. And to be fair, Cruikshank hadn't seen it. It hit him in the shoulder. Now, Basingstoke did a great job on the kill a few minutes ago, up until the point that Coventry scored, that was. They played smart and kept things to the outside. Looks a little more ragged this second time. Moore.
That done the post there, too.
Calder takes a shot, gets deflected, comes back over the goal, and Danny Stewart of Basingstoke hammers all the way down. Koenig comes out of his goal, made a bit of a pig's ear.
You know what? He sits really high on the power play. Obviously, they want to know if the puck does get chipped out, that he could come up and try and play it and keep the pressure on the Basingstoke Bison. But he almost got caught there.
Basingstoke have the 4th best penalty kill at home, but overall the 9th best penalty kill in the league. So they've conceded a fair few power play goals. They take penalties on the road, they're in trouble. Here's Danny Stewart. Just under 30 seconds remaining on Coventry's one-man advantage. Stewart heads up play, puffing, panting. He's going to take a wrist shot through traffic. It gets deflected into the crowd behind the goal of Curtis Cruikshank's goal. And it's still 1-1 here in Basingstoke. Soderstrom chips in, collected by Braff. Bronkanen gets it out, only as far as Campbell, who loses it, then gets it back straight away from Soderstrom. Thornton's just free in the middle if they can find him. He just sank too low there and couldn't get the puck to Thornton quick enough. Timmins outlet pass to Cowley, 2-on-1. Stewart is the extra man here. He's Stewart. He's going to cut inside, gets the puck taken off him, and then runs over Cruikshank. I don't think there was too much he could do about that. Both Stewart and Cruikshank stay prostrate.
Good work by the Basingstoke defenseman there on the 2-on-1. As he comes around and not being allowed to get a good quality shot. Stewart coming around to his backhand and inadvertently running over Cruikshank. Of course, he didn't mean to do that, but the play whistle dead, and I'm sure Cruikshank will be fine.
Big hit, Campbell on piece. Shots taken. It's rebounded. There's another chance out in front.
And a penalty
and the
coming up.
Blaze couldn't get there. Interference call coming in against the Bison. But a big turnover there from that big hit just alongside the Coventry Blaze bench.
So 2-minute minor for interference, and it was because after the shot he held him up, and you get that interference call. You know, it is with the zero tolerance rule that you have. You can't get in guys' ways. You can't pick, and you can't stop a guy's procedure to the net.
Third.
What?
You got there in the end? Third power play of the night for the Coventry Blaze, 155th of the season. You can tell I brought my stats book with you, can't you? Weaver, Carlson, they've got the big unit out on this occasion. And they've been just looking to gain possession, but Derek Campbell does a sterling job and finds Thornton. As Thornton just lost control, Koenig comes out and then makes a pig's ear of it, and Thornton scores! What a finish by Stevie Thornton!
Unbelievable.
But Trevor Koenig will want that one back. He won't be pressing rewind.
I think Steve Thornton halfway through that thought, oh man, I wish I would have handled that better. But Koenig he plays high out of his goal on power plays, and there Thornton mishandled that, and Koenig has a chance to play it and mishandles it, and Thornton jogging on the doorstep, and he punishes him. Short-handed goal.
But tell me, why does he make the fancy backhand play there? Why not forehand along the boards, the simple play? Let's see it again.
He knows there's a guy behind him, his defenseman behind him. He's trying to lay it off to him. But you're right, Dave. It's about basic hockey.
Does that look a happy coach to you?
That's a guy who's going to say, you got to do the easy play. Keep it simple.
Trust me, Trevor Koenig could be very slow at the end, off the ice at the end of the first period. He knows his coach awaits. He won't be too pleased. 2-1 the Bison lead. Still power play time. Short-handed goal for Steve Thornton. The first short-handed goal that the Coventry Blaze have conceded this season. And it's a bit of a hot potato on this power play is the puck. Cruikshank takes the puck back and he'll come out on his backhand and clears all the way down the ice.
And Basingstoke have Coventry rattled right now. Coventry making some silly passes, trying to confuse plays instead of doing things simple. And they've got them on the ropes.
Well, about 6 weeks ago, I was at the Sky Dome and saw Basingstoke go 3-0 up against the Coventry Blaze. And slowly and surely the Blaze grafted back into the game and eventually ended up winning it comfortably. But you're in the Basingstoke home tonight. And look, things just aren't going right. Passes not going to their intended
places.
places.
Of passes from down low on the power play up to the points, and they're bobbling, and the guy's not there. They're not communicating well.
And a few shaking heads as well, which is never a good sign. Great commitment by Tommy Watkins though. Picks up on a big hit and then collects a loose puck down the other end. Here's Thornton. Steps inside. Is he going to get better at Timmins? He did, and the Basingstoke fans calling for a penalty. None called by Michael Hicks. Russ Cowley at the other end, deflected shot.
And Steve Thornton's upset because they got called on the same call earlier on when Stevie Thornton drove by Casey Timmins there and blew by him.
One of the most experienced players in the BMI Baby Elite League, Steve Thornton.
Most electric and entertaining as well to watch. He's so fast, and there, obviously Casey Timmins doing his job. He's got to hold the guy up, but Basingstoke got a penalty on that 2.5 minutes ago.
So as this first period comes to an end, it's the Basingstoke Bison that lead the way by 2-1. An entertaining first period. Basingstoke taking the lead. Coventry coming back on the power play. And then, of course, the Basingstoke Bison hit in with Thornton. We'll be back after this break. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to Antarctica, or as we know it, the Basingstoke ice rink. Absolutely bitter here. Nick's got the scarf on, but the Basingstoke Bison fans, they don't mind the cold. They are 2-1 up against the league-leading Coventry Blaze. There's the goal scorer, Neil Martin.
And Neil Martin, you can see that what he's saying to the ref and the linesman is this ice is a joke. He just skated around behind the goal with them and was talking to them and showing them the ice. And it affects you, it slows you down. It obviously makes the puck bobble and bounce around as well. So, but I also think it might be a ploy by Ryan Aldridge as well. I mean, coaches do have control over things like that. They can say to the Zamboni driver, look, make the ice ugly because we're going to try and grind out an ugly win.
Are we going to tell that Chris McSorley story down in London about coaches and ice? We'll save that one for a few minutes because the Basingstoke Bison on the attack, and here's Campbell looking for a third. Danny Stewart just fires one right into the glove. Great glove
save
by Koenig.
But you know, back to there's Don Cherry, obviously the famous coach and pundit in North America in the NHL. And when he was in Boston, he used to crank the heating up in the away team changing room and make the away teams come in, and they were sweating and getting uncomfortable and feeling really, horrible. And those are the little ploys that you can take when it's your rink.
Well, Chris McSorley was the great one. It was a Sky game many years ago. As another shot ends up in the glove of Koenig. And it was a game that saw the London Knights have a fair few injuries, and I don't think that Chris McSorley really wanted the game played. And there was a big hole in the ice. I think it was the Newcastle Vipers who actually, or River Kings as they were then, who got into town. And the ice couldn't be fixed. 2 hours later, they sent the River Kings home. And 15 minutes after the River Kings bus left London, all the equipment that was needed to fix the ice was on the ice, and the ice was perfect within the hour. I don't think the guys at Sky were too happy about that, but Chris McSorley saved his team from a game he didn't want them to play. Weaver tries to finish on Stewart in the first minute of this second period. Tries to get it out in front of Stewart again. Timmins down the middle, intercepted though by Braff, who's been big and solid and reliable for Basingstoke this year. Stewart, Danny Stewart of the Bison. In fact, both Danny Stewart's on the ice at the same time. Braff just takes a long shot into Koenig, who lets it go. Doesn't.
And of course, our opinions are just allegedly.
Oh, allegedly, of course, yes.
No.
I'll tell you another good
We're making
allegedly.
assumptions.
I'll tell you a great allegedly story about a dressing room antic in a minute. Next break in play. And Basingstoke will clear. You can tell the whistle blows. It is alleged that once the Durham Wasps turned up at Solihull, and it is alleged that Solihull decided to be hospitable to the Durham Wasps, and they put 2 jugs of coffee out for the opposing team. And it is alleged that the doctor of the said Solihull team had a syringe with laxatives in it. And it is alleged and suggested that a fair few of those Durham players, well, they were rushing off at the end of the period breaks. Oh, those are the good old days, some 20 years ago. Might be more professional now, but it certainly wasn't as much fun. We had a few cracks in those days. Greg Wood goes into the corner. He was just a thought in his mother's mind when those kind of things were happening. Neil Martin on the backhand tries to get it out. Owen intercepts. Tasker on the right-hand side. Cuts across, gives it to Cook, and the former Nottingham Panther headmans the puck over the blue line, takes a shot into the glove of Curtis Cruikshank. Vickerdale had finished as well a check on Watkins. There's Weaver. When Paul Thompson got the assistant coaching job to Chris McSorley in the national team, Michael Tasker was on that squad, and Chris McSorley asked Tomo, how is he on the team? And he said, entertainment manager. Graff gets to a puck first. Chambers, he's player watching, not puck watching, and therefore the Blaze manages to keep the puck in the offensive zone. Thornton doing some good defensive work, but he can't clear his zone, and it's just slow feet right now from the Basingstoke Bison. Idle play, and Carlson with a snapper into the glove of Curtis Cruikshank. But it seemed to me there whether the Bison had been out for a long shift, but they weren't pressing, they weren't forcing, and they were just waiting for an opportunity, the Coventry Blaze.
Yeah, David, it's been the story of the game. No team has really gone out there and played very physical. They let teams have the neutral zone. They're moving both teams are moving the puck well around in the offensive zones and getting good shots away. And maybe they're just going to be happy with that all night and keep the goalies nice and warm.
Troy Newmeyer, the big wind up. Shot just wide, stick side of Curtis Cruikshank. Campbell jumps into play. Man out in front was Braff. Braff chips out. Looking for Stewart. Stewart couldn't collect. Owen's going to get there first. Back to Danny Stewart. Newmeyer comes in and will try and pin. Stewart, though, again, as Newmeyer comes in for a second time. Big height difference, and I think Newmeyer was a little conscious there. He was going to get called on a penalty if he interfered anymore with Greg Owen. Chambers gets the puck back. Here's Stewart. So it was Campbell. Stewart gets it across. Now to Prontonen. Intercepted, and we're going to get a penalty. And it's a high stick. And the Basingstoke Bison are going to go on the power play.
Yeah, I think Casey Timmins Casey Timmins getting called for the 2 minutes for high sticking. There you see it right across the top of the screen there. He did have his stick high, and David, it is one of those things, he didn't mean to do it, but you've got to be in control of your stick the whole time.
So let's see if they can improve their woeful stats on the one-man advantage here in the home of the Basingstoke Bison. They've got some skilled players as well. You would imagine their power play to be useful. Good puck movement. They've got some snipers in Chambers. They've got great creativity in Thornton, but Thornton can't be creative if he hasn't got the puck.
Graff really guilty of a bad pass to Thornton. Can't be doing that on the power play.
I think Thornton let him know as well. There's a man, Calder, there short-handed. We've had one short-handed goal tonight, and Calder was hoping for a second. Patient play now as the Bison set up. Thornton just holds onto that puck well. Martin will hound him. Campbell comes in with a little bit of a pick, and that set up the play on the boards. Calder hits the blue line, lets the slapper go, goes into the netting above the plexiglass, whistle blows, and a face-off in front of Curtis Cruikshank.
Yeah, Cruikshank with a good blocker save there. Carlson taking the shot over the right over the blue line.
Short-handed power play win for the Coventry Blaze. Bison, though, get puck possession. Owen and Chambers do a pretty good job. Chambers playing the point on the PP. Back to Braff. Outlet pass to Cruikshank. Cruikshank headmans the puck. Owen drives the net. Cruikshank holds onto the puck though and tries the setup, gives it back to Braff. Braff has to be quick getting it to Chambers, takes a shot and a goal! A power play goal for the Basingstoke Bison! It went straight through Trevor Koenig. He gave one up short-handed, he gave one up on the power play, and the Bison lead the Blaze by 3-1.
Power play marker here, you see puck comes up from Campbell to Braff. And the shot coming in from the point. And again, no wind up, just a real quick, releases it really fast. Doesn't have to be that hard. Squeezes through Koenig, and we got a 2-goal margin now.
Traffic as well in front of Trevor Koenig. Greg Owen awarded the goal, but if you get traffic in front of these goalies, the old saying, if you can't see it, you can't stop it.
No, and however good Koenig is, he did get a piece of that.
Merry Christmas, those Basingstoke Bison fans are thinking. It might be cold, but they don't care here in Basingstoke. Their team, the Bison, lead 3-1 against the high-flying, top of the table Coventry Blaze. And certainly people like Jared Adams and Mike Ellis and David Matsos and Rob Wilson, their ears will be pricking at the news that Basingstoke are 3-1 up against the Coventry Blaze. As I said though, Coventry trailed Basingstoke 3-0 at the Skydome Arena in Coventry a few weeks ago, only for the Blaze to come out victorious there. But this is a different kettle of fish because this is in Basingstoke. Here's Timmins, tries to create some space, and all of a sudden Cruikshank is seeing a lot of the puck, but he's seeing it as big as a dustbin lid. And the Blaze aren't really getting in front of Cruikshank. They're foretracking well, and they get the puck out to Cowley. Big chance out front for Stewart. Owen got there first, and that's a great play by young Greg Owen.
Great play by Owen. He scored 2 goals. He comes back and breaks up that play. Stewart alone in the high slot. The pass comes out to him, and great work by Owen. You got to get a hold of the guy's stick, and he breaks up the shot. We got a penalty call coming up on the play. The Coventry Blaze. I think Michael Tasker is going to be getting called for boarding. Coventry just don't look hungry right now.
So a penalty kill for the Coventry Blaze. And if Basingstoke could get the power play going here, we said they had the 3rd worst power play in the league coming into the previous power play. They scored on that. If they could go 2 for 2 on the power play, then the Coventry Blaze are in big trouble here in Basingstoke. Chance for Thornton as Koenig gave up a rebound. 90 seconds remain on the power play. Thornton kicks up a great work. Oh, Stewart was just out in front, and it was Thornton who just couldn't find him. It's the Basingstoke Bison in the ascendancy here. Stewart on his offside, steps up, gets it back to Braff, moves the puck quickly to Perontanen. Thornton, small stick, back to the fin, takes the shot. Stewart collects. They've got 70 seconds. They need to rush it. They've got a lot of time, and Thornton was the traffic in front and wasn't moved. And Steve Thornton, one of the smallest guys on the ice, Nick, and he was the guy who was providing the traffic in front of Trevor Koenig. Called it as a good job with patience. But Coventry not moving. Thornton. Here's Stewart, 3-on-2. Headmans the puck over the blue line, steps up, runs off his stick. Coventry won't mind that, they keep it to the outside. Good work from Carlson. 3-on-2 short-handed actually there as well as Coventry broke. Moore had broken the zone. Greg Owen. Nice play out to Cruikshank, bounces into his skates though, comes back. Short-handed chance for Moore. I don't think it's going to be offensive chance for him, they'll just have good puck possession. Danny Stewart, surely he'll come back to the defenseman, he does. Gets it back to Neil Martin, nice play to Soderstrom, and Soderstrom will chip in, and Coventry kill 20-25 seconds, that's how you kill.
Yeah, Dave, that 25-30 seconds that was just killed, it's funny enough, it's because an errant pass goes off a linesman's skate and they don't gain the zone, it comes back to a Coventry Blaze. Just shows you how the bounces can affect the game.
It's the Bison that lead the Blaze 3-1. With just over 12 minutes remaining in the second period. Cruikshank didn't see much of that as he deflected it into the corner. Always controlled his rebounds well, Curtis Cruikshank. And the Coventry Blaze are back to full strength. Michael Tasker on the ice. Here's Eric Braff, hits the red line and chips it in. And that's all the Bison have got to do for the next, 21, 22 minutes. Chip it in. Cruikshank, chance out in front. Next up, it's Moorings and a goal for the Basingstoke Bison. Chambers came from the far side and hammered home. The referee's going to consult his linesman, but the Basingstoke Bison are convinced that they now lead by 4-1.
Well, we'll see what happens here, Dave, but it's Owen again with the aggressive on the forecheck. Makes a great play. I don't think Michael Hicks is going to call this a goal for some reason. He had
no goal, he says, as he skates across. I think he's going to say that the net was off its moorings, and Greg Owen is saying no.
Well, let's have a look at this. It's going to be a very controversial call. Again, Owen with a great job on the forecheck. Gets the puck to Campbell. See, comes in. Campbell letting the shot away. It definitely in the goal. Definitely in the goal.
I'm just trying to see, did the puck move? Oh, that is a goal. It's a goal.
They're saying the net is definitely off its moorings too.
But was it off its mooring when the puck crossed the line?
Tell you what, that is a tight one. We'll have a look later on, but Michael Hicks was right down there on the doorstep. He's denied the Basingstoke Bison a 3-goal lead, and that could be a big turning point in the game.
That's one that Arsene Wenger would say he didn't see. And the Coventry Blaze get away.
Because, you know, Dave, on the road, Coventry going 3 goals down. I know at home they came back from that 3-goal deficit.
I agree.
But on the road, it's ugly, it's cold, the ice is horrible, it's wet in the changing rooms. And that could have sealed the deal for the Bison.
It could have done. And there's a big row going on now between the linesman Thompson and a couple of players on the Basingstoke Bison bench, including the captain. They're still going at it hammer and tongue. As Coventry come right down the middle with Newmeyer, intercepted by Stewart. Campbell couldn't collect, intercepted this time. Carlson got more to his right. Carlson plays the play. Yeah. Lovely finish by Jonathan Weaver. And from going possibly 4-1 up, the Coventry Blaze have just pulled it back to 3-2.
Dave, you could just see that coming. The Bison, everyone on the bench was still talking to the linesman. There was a lack there. And Calder come in just untouched into the high slot area. Carlson with a great pass, great no-looker.
Campbell
to Weaver.
Yeah, Campbell not picking up his man there. And that's really one of the things, you know, when you have a player coach, is that you really needed a coach on the bench or your captain, somebody just to calm the bench down and calm the players down. Look, the goal's not counted. Yeah. The referee's not going to change his mind again. But instead, everybody's emotions are running high, and that's what happens. You need your big players just to calm things down a tad there. It didn't happen. In fact, the captain was the one who was having a good holler at the linesman. What's the linesman going to do? Absolutely nothing, let me tell you. So it's 3-2. Still advantage Basingstoke. Owen gets it out to the far side. Cruikshank stays onside. Owen drives the net. Good work by Russ Cowley. Russ Cowley then just got hold of his man, followed him all the way back and did all the things that Derek Campbell didn't do to Jonathan Weaver on that last goal. Graff is the last man back. Cowley's just waiting for the puck, doesn't come to him. So Russ Cowley on the score sheet for the Coventry Blaze, 3-2, the Bison lead. Oh, it could have been so different. Could have been 4-1, now it's 3-2. How many times have we seen that? Russ Cowley, one of the better skating players. GB International, chips it into the corner. Stewart goes to fetch it. Bison player gets there first. Timmins keeps it in. Here's his Cowley. And the Blaze have got a jump. They've got their jump back. You talk about moments that change games, and that decision not to give that goal has certainly been one of the big decisions we've seen. Stewart just loses out. Picked up by Wood, who's got Aldridge to his left. Aldridge was a couple of feet offside, not called by the linesman. Cowley down the left-hand side, red line, chips it in. Aldridge finishes on a hit, well, misses the hit and finishes on the boards. Graff finishes on Tasker. Watkins finishes on the fin with the unpronounceable name. There's Tasker with a wrist shot into the glove, and all of a sudden there's a bouncing puck, there's a bit of intensity, there's a few hits being thrown, and all of a sudden we've got a game on, Nick. Here's Jonathan Weaver, he's got one tonight, fires one through traffic, gets intercepted, or deflected more like, by Stewart. Timmins chips in, Cowley goes to get it. This line has a bit of everything, feistiness from Stewart, speed from Cowley, and just dogged determination and good puck possession and good positioning skills from Timmins. Thornton turns himself into trouble, gets himself out of trouble. But they're playing very low, aren't they, the Basingstoke Bison right now?
And Coventry's defenseman Weaver on that one, he's pinching in. They're looking to get back into this game real quick and keep the momentum going their way.
Danny Stewart, low centre of gravity. Just a gutsy player. Chips it in, knows he's going to get hit now, but he'll go to the puck first. That's what you're going to like about hockey players. They know they're going to get hammered, but they still get to the puck first, and Danny Stewart does that as well as anybody. Thornton right down the middle. Thornton's got Stewart to his one side, but he played himself into a bit of trouble. Cowley's got Watkins. Watkins top of the circle, takes a shot, deflected, picks up his rebound. Going to try and find Timmins. Timmins has sunk low and has got the loose puck. Looking for some options, perhaps to get the cycle going. Graff tries to stand Watkins up. Man out in front is Newmeyer. He sank low, Newmeyer. Gets it back to Watkins. That's going to be offside.
He got away with it.
And it's not.
No.
It's called. Probably got the quickest one-liners in hockey, I would reckon. Michael Tasker. He's a gas fitter in Newcastle. Finished work at lunchtime, drove down to Basingstoke, gets back in the car, drives up to Newcastle, and he'll be working tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Tell that to some of the pampered footballers, eh? Here's Cook, hits the blue line, top of the circle, centering pass. Cruikshank was a little slow getting away there. Gets it to Chambers. Chambers has got the other Cruikshank. Here's Brad, headmans the puck, top of the circle, long shot, right down the throat of Trevor Koenig. Late slash from Cruikshank on Tasker. Tasker ignores it.
And Dave, you're talking about...
In fact, Tasker doesn't ignore it, and now the two of them meet at centre ice, and they're exchanging Christmas card addresses, and there's a little bit of festive greetings. Just take a look at, is it Tommy Watkins just behind the shoulder of Michael Tasker? Got the old ice pack on the nose there. Taking one.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
Doesn't it?
He's saying it doesn't hurt. I'm good.
Here's Barry Moore. He's got a great wrist shot, uses it as well, right into the belly of... and now we've got Thornton and Coulson. Well, there's an unusual one. Thornton and Coulson, the two skillful centres.
Dave, up until this point, I've said it a couple of times. Actually, I'll go back about 5 minutes as well, or 10 minutes. This was a nice game to play in. It wasn't very physical. Wasn't a lot of heart, wasn't a lot of desire. We did see 5 goals, but you didn't see any oomph. All of a sudden, Michael Tasker, the last 10 minutes, has provided a spark. And then now you see Steve Thornton coming back. He's obviously, something's happened. Steve Thornton's not a fighter, but he's standing up for his teammates and trying to make a statement saying, I'm not going to let you guys get away with this.
And in fairness, both Coulson and... Let's just see it again. Bit of afters. Just goes out of shot.
You know what? I think Thornton gave him a shot in the back of the head. Yeah. Just because he got a little too close to Cruikshank.
Well, Thornton and Coulson. Well, I think we got a double minor against Thornton. and a single minor against Carlson, which is why just the 1-2 minutes shows up on the clock. So Dan Carlson, 2 roughing, and Steve Thornton will get the instigator there, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see he'll get 2+2. Paul Thompson looks a bit more lively on the bench of the Coventry Blaze, issuing his instructions out. And this is one of the things, when you have a bench coach, a head coach, opposed to a player coach, Aldridge will come back after a shift, he'll be exhausted. Who's giving instructions? Who's calming down? Who's saying we're not doing this? Who's changing the forecheck? Who's changing the breakouts? He's too exhausted to do that, and look at the Coventry Blaze bench. They got Curtis Uppy, Ruben Nader, and Paul Thompson on that bench right now, all giving out the instructions. 2-minute power play to the Coventry Blaze. Can they tie this one with just under 6 minutes remaining in the second period? Look at this guy skate. Martin hits the red line, doesn't get it quite in deep enough, and Casey Timmins will see power play time. That, of course, is because the guy in the penalty box for Coventry is Dan Carlson. Weaver to Calder, goes all the way, tries to find Martin. Martin can't take it in because Moore is offside. Martin just gets run into the boards by Braff. Timmins comes in and just gets a little bit of body contact. .70 seconds remaining on the power play. Jonathan Weaver on the puck. Timmins, who's gone from playing not a great part in Manchester's season to playing a big part in the Coventry Blazes season. Good interception there by Campbell. Forces the puck into the neutral zone. Weaver gives it to Martin. Have a look at this. Puts the jets on. Martin, blue line. Hammers one in. Somebody's got to go and get there first. It's Adam Calder. Tries to get Moore going. Moore back to Calder. Calder, can he keep it in? Yes, he can. He's surely got to come to Martin. No, the puck is forced out. Great play by Peronkanen. Now it's Martin. Martin again goes on his forehand. Gets it back to Tommy Watkins. 30 seconds on the power play. No real clear-cut chances for the Coventry Blaze. Neumeier just moves the puck out. Not somebody you'd perhaps naturally see on a power play. Troy Neumeier.
Well,
big, strong and steady.
He is big, strong and steady. He's not fancy, and he'll be upset with him for letting the puck bobble off over his stick there, and it goes over the blue line, and he pushes it back in, tries to be sneaky again, and it gets called offside.
Because it's Cloutier and Huppy missing for the Coventry Blaze, their power play is probably affected more than their 5-on-5 play, and therefore a lot more people getting power play time tonight as Tomo is rotating his lineup. Dr. Paul Thompson, yes. Weaver. He hasn't had the letters changed on his car yet. Here's Weaver. Nice pass. Danny Stewart. Gilt-edge chance. Takes a shot. What a very good play. Ryan Aldridge. Aldridge feeds the puck to Cruikshank. Cruikshank versus Koenig. Cruikshank shoots just wide. Koenig makes amends. Good work by Ryan Aldridge there. He blocked the shot and then blocked the defenseman coming back as well. We're all back full strength now, but a short-handed breakaway. All from that block from Ryan Aldridge. Shot comes in. Just fakes on it. Watkins moves the puck. Watkins is going to go to the goal. Not Watkins, it's Stewart, sorry. Stewart. Nice feed by Ross Cowley, that was as well. Watkins breaks free from Cruikshank. And Coventry have to backpedal with Mattias Soderstrom. But again, quick hands, quick feet by Soderstrom. Gets it to Neil Martin. Chips it into the corner. Calder has to get there first, but Peronkanen got there first.
Coventry have tried the strong rib dump, the cross-eyed stump, and I think Paul Thompson will be upset with his guys because they're not driving hard in on the Basingstoke Bison defenseman.
Yeah, a couple of times Calder's been second to that loose puck in the corner. Here is Adam Calder. And Peronkanen on both occasions has got to that cross-eyed stump first. Good play by Owen. Not a big man, but he certainly uses his strength well. Rapp takes a shot. Kicked away by Koenig. And Joe Beard using all the skills that you taught him, Nick.
I didn't coach him. I coached his friend.
Pucks up his net again. Cruikshank has a go at Koenig. Martin then has a go at Cruikshank. and a bit more pushing and shoving. But Trevor Koenig's a little nervy right now. He just moves that net off its moorings.
Yeah.
And Cruikshank was unhappy with that.
The moorings are up in the posts in this goal, and then they go down into the ice, and the puck actually doesn't cross the line. You can
Look
see.
at that. He moves it. Koenig with his left hand moves it.
Yeah.
And Cruikshank's going to get a penalty here.
Yeah, the puck slides up underneath the goal, but Cruikshank definitely did aid that goal in its movement.
The Bison fans banging on the glass, banging the seats, trying to get their team, their undermanned, understrength team, against this Coventry Blaze team, top of the table. Thornton about to come back onto the ice, next break in play. Vickerdale takes a long shot, and it's a bit of a slash and hack. So more pushing and shoving, and Danny Stewart gets in there. And Ryan Aldridge gets his nose dirty. Inside the final 2 minutes of this second period. Face off in the defensive zone of Coventry. Shot comes in from Vickerdale, got deflected and just flashed across the blue ice just in front of Trevor Koenig in his crease. Back come the Blaze, end to end. Stewart, drop pass, will it be? No, Stewart goes to the back door. Tasker. Tasker falls over. Cruikshank gets moved out of the way. Shot comes in from the outside. Vickerdale hammers Cowley just in front of Curtis Cruikshank. Exactly what you'd expect a defenseman to do. Here's Stewart down the other end, fires one, and Koenig gives up the rebound. Vickerdale fires it in again. And certainly Basingstoke, when they get the opportunity, fire everything at Trevor Koenig. He may well be ranked number 1 in the league, but he's perhaps not having his best night tonight, so fire it at him and see what happens. Beard had moved the puck well. Chambers gets moved off the puck by Newmeyer, but holds onto it well. Great play, Chambers. Shot comes in from Cruikshank. Great glove, Trevor Koenig. That's more like the Trevor Koenig we know. Into the final minute, second period, a 1-1 second period. Barrymore. Is that going to go over the glass? No, good work by Braff. Brockinen moves his man out the road well. Now Chambers on the break. Chambers versus Soderstrom. Soderstrom stands Chambers up pretty well. Second bite of the cherry, and a penalty's going to come in the way, and it's going to go against the Coventry Blaze. An interference call on Mattias Soderstrom. More power play time for the Basingstoke Bison.
Basingstoke moving the puck again, freely through the neutral zone, gaining the Coventry blue line and getting another good scoring opportunity and drawing the penalty. Chambers, you can see, going 1-on-0 against Soderstrom, and Soderstrom tying it up. And then Campbell on the doorstep for a rebound and almost punishing Koenig.
So 28 seconds of power play for the Basingstoke Bison at the end of this second period. If they're not successful, then of course that power play will continue into the third period. Cruikshank comes out. Cruikshank to Brockinen. East to west pass comes down the middle, but this period is going to end unless Thornton can do something. As the final hooter is about to sound, Stevie Thornton had a crackerjack of a chance. Well, it was 2-1 at the end of the first period. Wow, the Bison came back in it 3-1. Should have made it 4-1. Controversial goal disallowed before the Blaze came back 3-2. There's still goals left in this one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the break. See you then. Welcome back to Basingstoke, where the Bison lead the Coventry Blaze by 3-2, and the shot's a lot more even in that second period, Nick.
It was a lot more even, and Basingstoke denied a goal on a call from Michael Hicks, saying that the goal had been dislodged before the puck crossed the line, and we've seen that could be a huge turning point in this game.
You talk about big, huge momentum changing decisions. We even had a look at the second one, and that looked a little bit close as well, didn't we? So Basingstoke may be a bit aggrieved at the end of the second period, but they lead by 3-2. Here's Brockinen. You don't want to buy his replica shirt. Takes a long shot through traffic. And Koenig just fires one right off the boards. Brockinen just hammers one back in. Whistle blows. And Nick's so important that Basingstoke limit their errors at the beginning of this third period and just try and snuff out the Coventry Blaze. The announcer tries to get the atmosphere back going again here in Basingstoke, and the Bison fans, is this going to be an unexpected victory? Then again, would it be unexpected? The Bison have had some good, strong success this year here at home. The Blaze trail 3-2. This is one of their games in hand, remember. They're looking to extend their lead at the top of the BMI Baby Elite League. Basingstoke on the flip side are looking to secure 8th place just to get into those playoff positions. Weeder finishes on Owen, GB partners. And the more of the puck we see down in the offensive zone of the Basingstoke Bison, the less chance the Bison are going to have. What a nice pass out to Braff by Chambers. I think it was that nice a pass. Braff wasn't expecting it. Yeah.
No.
He was there admiring it. Weaver's pass intercepted or just interfered with. Called out. His pass doesn't make any of his teammates. Vickerdale steps up. Owen helps it on its way. And you see, 35-40 seconds already gone. Coventry back to full strength. Soderstrom comes straight out of the penalty box. So important that Basingstoke, in this quarter of the ice, this defensive zone, they just don't give any pucks away. They play smart. Boring almost. Doesn't matter about entertaining us tonight. The result's all important. Shot comes in from Vickerdale, went through traffic. Patient play by Moore as he fires it through the disco line. Face-off drops, and Carlson, who was in the thick of the action in the second period with a face-off win over Stewart. Basingstoke force Coventry back, and Soderstrom sets up behind the goal of Koenig, and then Koenig runs into Stu Campbell, and now that we've got a bit of a punch up here, and it's a bit one-sided, and James Pease just stood up there to protect Carlson and wasn't expecting Campbell to start throwing them. Campbell did throw them. Pease went down to the ground and then landed a few of his own later. But a bit of a nothing match there.
Well, Dave, Derek Campbell came in on Koenig, and I think he inadvertently got his stick tied up between Koenig's legs, and Koenig went down. Now, Michael Hicks, hand up.
Let's see it again, Nick. Here we go.
Michael Hicks, you can see Campbell there, gets his skate. Now, you don't know if he's dragged it behind him on purpose to put Koenig off, but nonetheless, Michael Hicks saw the penalty. Now, Coventry there, you want to come in, you want to make Campbell know you can't get that close to our goalie, but
two players in the Basingstoke Bison penalty box and just one just down below us. In fact, the heat, the only bit of heat in this whole building is coming off the Coventry player in the penalty box, and it's rising up. If you just put your hand out in front of yourself now, you'll feel that heat. The sweat that these guys generate. So, power play time for the Coventry Blaze. What does power play mean? 5 Coventry Blaze skaters against 4 Basingstoke Bison skaters. Carlson moves the puck quickly. Weaver takes a shot through traffic. Rebound. Oh, he just went over the stick of Timmins. Timmins looked like he got the empty net to shoot in then. Here's Calder. Back to Weaver. Carlson's got the trigger cocked. Instead, he goes to Weaver. Calder takes the shot. Goes to Moore. Now to Calder. Everything on the outside at the moment. Basingstoke will be fairly comfortable. Here's Calder through traffic. Takes a shot. Cruikshank got it seen as it whistled past the bar post. Barrymore gets pushed off the puck, but he gets back to Carlson. Weaver jumps in. Nice little play to Dan Carlson. Watch Adam Calder at the back door. Instead, it goes to Barrymore, takes a shot. A big shot as well, and a good save by Curtis Cruikshank. And the Bison managed to clear. Collected by Weaver to Dan Carlson into the second minute of the 2-minute power play. Timmins. Big KC Timmins. Now Carlson. Good puck movement by the Blaze. Here's Barrymore, takes a shot, but it was right into the chest of Curtis Cruikshank. And the Basingstoke Bison doing a good job keeping things to the outside.
They're keeping a good box structure and keeping the Coventry Blaze to the outside. There, Barrymore, though, has an opportunity to step up from the goal line, and Cruikshank falling to his one side, and Barrymore couldn't get it over top of him, and he had a great save there.
Would I be right in criticising slightly not a lot of player movement, good puck movement, but the players are fairly static on that power play? I think we talked about that last week, that perhaps a little bit more player movement. Let's see what rotation they get going now. Carlson comes to the top. Here's Timmins, who steps inside. Takes a shot low, gets deflected. 30 seconds left on the power play. Weaver, one-timer maybe for Calder? No, it was bouncing back to Weaver. Onto Calder. Thought about the one-timer to Weaver. Calder definitely wants that one-timer. Carlson and Calder have swapped wings, and Jonathan Weaver just snapped at one and just fanned on it a little bit. And the puck gets battered all the way down the ice to Trevor Koenig, who gets taunted by the Basingstoke fans. 2 seconds left. Basingstoke are going to come back to full strength, and another good penalty kill by Ryan Aldridge's team. And they'll give up an icing now. As soon as Mattias Soderstrom touches the puck, icing is called. Weaver, not time yet. Big shot comes in. Oh, I thought it had forced its way through Cruikshank then. I think Nick did as well. We both jumped up here on the gantry. Calder gets to a corner first, gets hit by Peronkanen. Carlson comes in. Not afraid to be first into a corner himself either, is he, Dan Carlson? Ryan Aldridge waited long on the puck, and it's bounced to Owen. A fortunate bounce. Owen for the HT! Oh, he was so close, and a penalty's going to come the way of the Coventry Blaze, and Basingstoke are going onto the power play, but it will not ever get closer to a hat-trick for Greg Owen than it was then.
Well, a hooking call from Jonathan Weaver, and that play, you know, I want to say it was on purpose, but Ryan Aldridge's pass, I think, missed its mark, and Owen takes it off the boards, and fortuitously comes in on Koenig and slides it by him, and just couldn't quite get the handle on it to tickle the twine.
Any kind of contact for Greg Owen, and the hats would have been coming off the balcony. I don't think there would be too many hats. Keep your ears cold here, I'll tell you. Here's Chambers. Power play time for the Bison. A fourth goal here would make it, well, not impossible, but very, very difficult for the Coventry Blaze. Patience, a virtue. Patience, such a key. Don't rush this power play. Get puck possession, move the puck well. Try and stretch the Coventry Blaze. Weaver gives up one there. But can the Bison just get onto a loose puck? Another puck hammers into the crowd. Hammers into the crowd. I remember the old days in Durham when they never used to have even netting between the blue lines, and they used to carry three out in warm-up as a matter of course. Oh, when men were tough and women were tougher. Thornton gets it back out of Cruikshank. Now to big Eric Braff. 5-on-4 power play time for the Basingstoke Bison. They lead 3-2. Cruikshank. Well, Basingstoke going to be able to extend that lead. Are Coventry going to come back? Are we going to see another overtime game? Steve Thornton, the brains of the outfit. Stewart, Braff, hammers one. Oh, and it was Thornton and Cruikshank. One of them just got the stick to it, just tried the redirect. And you have to say, Basingstoke have had some chances tonight. The puck just hasn't fallen for him. Here's Chambers, gorgeous move, Chambers, and finishes top shelf. Oh, what a finish by Greg Chambers.
That was sick, Dave. What hands, what a move, what composure.
Took it with one hand, pulled the move inside, went up shelf for the peanut butter. The Bison lead 4-2. And he doesn't look too happy.
He's not a happy man. His Coventry Blaze even, let's just watch Chambers. He had a little dipsy doodle, he kept his composure, the puck stays in the zone, Coventry don't clear it. Makes a great move, and Dave, you do not get a prettier goal than that. He knocked the cookie jar right up the top shelf.
That's as good a goal as we've seen, Nick, on Sky Sports
it is.
In this hockey season. What a way to end the year. Jared Adams, Mike Ellis, Rob Wilson, David Matsos. They're the four coaches of the chasing teams. And are they sat on the edge of the settee right now? Keep hot liquids away from those guys. They're hoping for a Bison win. But the Blaze know what it takes to win. Every single player on that Coventry team has won a championship before. That was one of the ingredients that Paul Thompson wanted in his squad. They know what it takes to win, and they've still got 12 and a half odd minutes left. But the Bison have played so very well tonight, and they deserve their 4-2 lead. Here comes Carlson, and of course no Neil Martin as well, so things not going great for Coventry right now. High stick on penalty on Carlson, on Calder. It's going to be Peronkanen who takes the penalty.
Yeah,
Just raised his stick into the face of Adam Calder. Power play time for the Bison.
Peronkanen absolutely knows exactly what happened. He was working on a forecheck here on Calder and just tries to lift his stick up, misses it, catches him right in the head, 2-minute minor.
And Coventry get a quick one here, and our hockey game's back on again, folks. I drove down here to Basingstoke tonight, not expecting a crackerjack of a game at all, and it has completely and utterly surprised me. It's been a bullet of a game. Exciting British ice hockey, BMI Baby Elite League. Calder with a long shot, guy on the back door. Oh, it was Barry Moore. Moore gets the cycle going, Coulson. Barry Moore seeing lots of power play time tonight with no Cloutier and no Hoppy. Long shot from the outside was Calder. Coulson gets just taken off the puck. Good work by Vickerdale against his former teammate. Vickerdale's punishing guys out there. Stewart, top of the circle, whips one, got deflected. Gets out to Coulson, Dan Coulson. Vickerdale's had a great shift. Calder, fans on it, and Stewart's got Calder chasing him. Stewart versus Stewart. What a finish! What a finish by Danny Stewart! Second short-handed goal of the night. And you can shine your shoes because the Bison are going dancing. They lead by 5 goals to 2.
What a work by Stewart against Calder. Gets the jump with him on the blue line, and then look at this, beats Koenig. Koenig just doesn't know what happened. He didn't give it a little dipsy doodle, goes to his forehand, then backhand. Koenig makes the move. Great finish from Stewart. 5-2 lead, it could be more. If Paul Thompson had a white towel, I know he's not a quitter, but I'll tell you what, he's not enjoying being in here right now, and I'd probably throw it on the ice.
For those of you at home, you're tuned into Sky Sports Extra, not ESPN. You're watching Coventry and Basingstoke, not the Atlanta Thrashers and the New York Rangers, because those two last goals are goals that would grace any game in any league at any time. Chambers, then Stewart, have scored 2 of the prettiest goals you're likely to see. And Newmeyer just intercepts Owen. Owen was just off on his travels. Oh, I can't wait to the highlights at the end of the night to see these goals again. We've seen some pretty goals tonight. Here's Michael Tasker. Ryan Aldridge, short-handed, just chips it down. And the Basingstoke Bison kill again.
On that PK, on that short-handed goal, Vickerdale and Kraft were both playing really, really physical on the Coventry Blaze on the power play. And they're unsettling the Blaze.
The only thing sexier than that move by Stewart was Kylie Minogue on the X Factor on Saturday. Here's a chance now. Coventry are going to have a 5-on-3 power play as soon as the Basingstoke touch it. And the Bison do touch it. Whistle. No, they don't touch it yet. They do. No, still. Why don't they give the puck up? Here's Stewart takes a shot. Bison have touched it now. And the point we make there is there was a delayed penalty with about 21 seconds left on the 5-on-4 power play.
And that's going to hurt Basingstoke. I think he's getting called for 2 minutes for cross-checking.
So not only is it,
but if that's the call, I mean, he's got his hand on the middle, on the numbers, and pushes him over, and I think that's an unfortunate call for Braff. He's just playing physical, and I don't think he cross-checked him.
I think Braff has been outstanding tonight. Played really well, really strong, but it's still power play time. Is it good night Vienna for the Coventry Blaze, or is there still a sting in the tail? Cat Carlson can't keep it in the offensive zone. We're into the final 10 minutes of the third period. Danny Stewart down the right-hand side. I'll tell you, that big Finn hasn't had a bad game either. Old Peronkanen, or whatever his name is, Peronkanen. He's been big and strong and done the simple things right. Hasn't looked out of place. Weaver, reshot through traffic, gets through to Barry Moore. Will there be more from Barry Moore? Top of the circle, reshot through traffic. Puck out front. Calder tries to take a shot, ends up in the back of the leg of Greg Owen. And Greg Owen who again has been another one outstanding. Braff and Owen for me for the Basingstoke Bison tonight. Here's
Owen
Weaver.
for me, man of the match so far. He's been absolutely outstanding.
Lovely pass from Stewart. Gets it out to Cowley, back to Stewart. Into the final 40 seconds of the 5-on-4 power play. Weaver through traffic, but he doesn't get through traffic. Thornton's out. Look at quick. Campbell comes out to the defenseman Newmeyer. They're forcing. They must be exhausted, but they're forcing. Stewart, top of the circle, takes a shot through traffic. Can Cowley get a bit of it? He can't. And Basingstoke clear again, and they clear well, and they've killed penalties so very, very well tonight.
And this guy just collecting the puck, Jonathan Weaver, not normally like that. He tried to force the shot in on the point. It goes straight into the shin pads of a Basingstoke Bison. Normally Jonathan Weaver is a lot calmer and he doesn't force the play, especially on power plays.
Timmins hammers one, goes right into the skate of Tommy Watkins. You can hear the goalie bang his stick on the ice, and that's the signal, the final few seconds of a penalty, and a big man, Eric Braff, comes back onto the ice. Straight into the action as Tasker takes a shot, fires it right into the calf of Braff, and Braff feels that. You can see him flinch the leg. Here is the impressive Owen. Puts the brakes on. Nice pass to Aldridge, takes a shot, and it finds itself in the body of Trevor Koenig. And you know what we might be just seeing here, Nick, is the first time, I believe, without just checking the stats, that the Coventry Blaze are going to lose 2 back-to-back games. And it's important how a team reacts to that.
Well, you know, on the road in here, and the way, especially guys like Owen playing against them, they're so confident, they're moving the puck around, they're making this a real miserable night for the Coventry Blaze.
And you talk about the great offense of the Coventry Blaze, but in 5 periods and 12 or 13 minutes, they've scored 2 goals in 2 games. Basingstoke have played with grit. Braff hammers one, loose puck. And a big weekend as well for the Basingstoke Bison as they go for 8th place, because on Saturday they have the Sheffield Steelers in this building. Ryan Aldridge, well, I tell you, has led by example tonight in the work ethic department. He's been first to loose pucks, he's been prepared to take a hit. I'm not being rude when I say he's not blessed with the most gifted of skills, but I tell you what, he's blessed with a big heart. Long shot comes in and Cruikshank can't quite control it. Gives up it doesn't clear the zone, and Weaver hammers one wide. Final 6 minutes, they're counting down, folks. Just 6 miles will be the message on the Basingstoke Bison bench. Tasker and Owen clash. Weaver collects. Chance down the left-hand side. Big Troy Newmeyer. Drop pass to Russ Cowley. Cowley helps it on its way. Collected by Stewart. But the puck bounces, and the pucks haven't bounced well for the Coventry Blaze in some situations tonight. And Cruikshank will stay there for 5.5 minutes if you want him to. Stewart leaves it. What a great finish, that goal, Stewart. Keep talking about that. It must be 6 or 7 minutes ago, but that was a nicest one-on-one finish as you'll see. That's a highlight reel goal if ever you'll see one by Danny Stewart of the Basingstoke Bison. Soderstrom bangs off the boards. And I don't care how many times the guys in the truck show that goal at the end of the night, Nick, it won't be enough. So what do you reckon this means to the Coventry Blaze? Nick, you know, I was the one that was saying it was all over in November. Everybody was telling me I was daft. I still think it's all over, but is there now a ray of light for those chasing teams?
It makes you wonder, Dave, when you get such a big gap and you've got those games in hand, if you take the foot off the gas, especially coming into Basingstoke like they have tonight, they haven't looked hungry at all. The only time they had any jump was when they hopped on that disallowed goal, and they looked like they had a little bit of life back in them. But it makes you wonder when you have that kind of dominance over league. And I'm sure Paul Thompson is wary of this. If you do take your foot off the gas or the eye off the ball, you might let teams slip back into the race.
Can the Cardiff Devils, the Newcastle Vipers, the Sheffield Steelers, all those dark horses in Nottingham. What a great night Greg Chambers has had.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been, again, first to lose pucks. He's been a man who's committed. He's a guy who spent some time here in Basingstoke. He's committed to this team, and he's done a great job.
But I think, Dave, man of the match.
Greg Owen, super kid.
Outstanding game, couple of goals, and he's been the one disrupting things, forechecking, making Jonathan Weaver, who never misses passes, glancing off his skate, and really bearing down, and I think he's led the Basingstoke Bison so far in this game.
So congratulations to Greg Owen, the man of the match. He'll win a 3-week holiday in Florida and a new motor car. Only kidding, folks. 3.5 minutes to go. And here's a chance for the Coventry Blaze and a super finish by Troy Newmeyer. A little bit too little, a little bit too late, is it?
You know what? Two goals, 3 minutes, 21 seconds, Coventry Blaze. We've been talking like it's been over.
Yeah.
This first little bit of life they have, Troy Newmeyer getting the green light, pinching in.
Where did Troy?
Not getting touched in front of the goal. Braff losing his footing, getting one crack at it, needing two. Cruikshank getting the pad down, but as he tries to extend his leg to keep it further out, pad lifts, Newmeyer slides it under, and it's 5-3.
Well, Troy Newmeyer found some hands there, didn't he? And did a good job. 5-3, 3:21 left. And the Blaze will be rampant now. They will come, and they'll come hard. Puck's in the corner, and you can see hits coming out from Campbell. Puck still with Coventry. Stewart has it. Now the Bison will come. They come with 3 as well. 3-on-2. McCanley gets back 3-on-3. Lovely pass by Campbell. Long shot comes from the outside. Hits Soderstrom in the midriff. Vicadil. They'll just chip it in. And you know what? They've just got to play smart, Basingstoke. Forget that last goal that's just gone in. And in fact, Soderstrom's just taken a penalty. And you know what? Michelle McManus is singing now, because short-handed for 2 minutes.
Michael Hicks calling a 2-minute minor for holding on Soderstrom as Campbell. Now this is what Basingstoke needed to do. They've for the last couple of minutes kind of soaking up the pressure in their zone, and finally they get a 3-on-2 breakout, and Campbell gets a puck down low and keeps his feet moving, and Soderstrom holds him.
You know what? Here's a chance short-handed. Hold on a second, folks. Great defensive play by the Bison. They just dived in the way. 3 of them just dived at that loose puck. That's how much it means to Basingstoke. Chambers puts the brakes on. Rebounds off the head of Coulson. Here's Campbell. Takes a shot, gets deflected into the opposite corner. And you know what? When Trevor Koenig's watching this game and he hears us say that, he'll be shouting at the telly. I know, you don't need to tell me, I know. Because most of these players, they're more self-critical. Braff just overhandles the puck slightly. Adam Calder, what can he do? Final 2 minutes. Coulson, short-handed, gets taken out by Braff. He's like a big bear, isn't he? Nice play by Owen. And our man of the match. Aldridge is one side of him. Here is Aldridge. So Owen for the HT, he takes a shot. It's knocked out of the way by Timmins. Final 90 seconds, folks. The Basingstoke Bison are getting 2 points closer to a playoff guaranteed place. The Hull Stingrays coach Rick Strachan won't be enjoying watching this. And we've got a bit of a scrap going on here now. Aldridge has grabbed, Timmins is punching Aldridge, the player coach. And Pease has clashed with Cruikshank, but the scrap in the corner is Casey Timmins punching Ryan Aldridge. Aldridge goes back with a left.
Casey Timmins might get called for 3rd man in. That's why Ryan Aldridge got involved. Because Casey Timmins was actually taking a couple of pops. I think it was either Campbell or Chambers. Might have been Cruikshank, sorry.
There's a tough man. Brad Cruikshank makes his way to the penalty box. And Casey Timmins, who's been known to drop him in his time. You see a bit of hanging there, and Pease and Cruikshank. And then you see Cruikshank just take a pop shot at James Pease. And then, well, I don't know what Cruikshank's doing there. What's caused that?
Well, do you know what? It was obviously Cruikshank just took a swipe at Pease, and Pease just felt like a sack of potatoes.
You know what? And I like Cruikshank. I think he's gritty, he's tough, and he's better than what we've just seen of him there. He's a mile better than what we've just seen of him there. We see the penalties, 4 minutes against the Coventry Blaze, 30 seconds still remaining on the penalty against Basingstoke. That's because they've had a 5-minute major, and that won't show up on the clock.
You know, Dave, there's always a saying as well, take his number, because there's always another time to do it. And I'm sure they've taken Cruikshank's number. I'm sure on another day, Casey Timmins will probably step up to him and say, do you remember this?
Yeah, Cruikshank's number's on speed dial, I think. 51 seconds left on the clock. I've been impressed with Braff tonight. He's been like a big bear out there. He's sucked it up and done a good job. And Basingstoke will clear the zone, will they? Thornton, who's been exemplary. Coventry have pulled their goal lead. Chance of an empty net if the Bison can get puck possession. And can they? Here's Coulson. Calder on a one-timer right into the midriff of Cruikshank. With just over 30 seconds on the play. I suppose it would have been interesting if that would have found the top corner.
Do you know, you got to say, Cruikshank didn't. Outstanding save. Didn't look spectacular. But look at this coming in. Look at the heat on this. And he's got 3 guys in front of him. Goes down in the butterfly style, but takes it high in the shoulder. No rebound. Perfect save.
Big goalie, covers a lot of the net, doesn't he? 31 seconds left. Jonathan Weaver picks up on the puck. They're going to look at getting men in front of Cruikshank. They do, and they chip one in front. There's a chance out inside, and Cruikshank and Thornton slide across. About 8 seconds killed, and Braff has a little bit of afters with Coulson again.
Michael Hicks right in there, separating them, and Braff upset with the Coventry Blaze for getting in on Cruikshank. The goal getting dislodged. That goal has moved a little easy, hasn't it, Dave?
It has, just a tad. But this is spunky hockey in Basingstoke. And the Bison, as we said, back in action on Saturday. I'm sure they'd like to see you if you live this neck of the woods. Final few seconds, Weaver fans on one, Calder on a one-timer, right into the chest of Cruikshank, collected by Braff, intercepts and clears, and Thornton with 13 seconds has an empty net. Thornton takes a shot, great work by Weaver, great work by Weaver, still Thornton, you know he can get on the loose puck, no he can't. And Calder takes it into the corner, you can hear the crescendo of noise as the Basingstoke Bison, with a major upset here in Basingstoke, with a 5-3 victory over the Coventry Blaze. The Blaze lose 2 in a row. Well, we're going to have tons to talk about. Don't go anywhere, because we're not, and we'll be back after this break.
Welcome back to the BMI Baby Elite Ice Hockey League here on Sky Sports, where the Basingstoke Bison have taken a huge scalp. They've beaten the league leaders Coventry Blaze 5-3. Well, folks, Christmas did come early for the folks in Basingstoke. Dave, it was a great game, wasn't it?
It was a great game, and it was an unexpectedly great game. It was end-to-end. There were some pretty goals, short-handed goals. We've seen the 2 first short-handed goals at that the Coventry Blaze have conceded. We see
our man of the match, Owen, getting the Basingstoke Bison off the ground, off the start right away.
He did, and he had a bit of luck. You know, the puck bounced off Jonathan Weaver's skates, but nice finish on his backhand side.
And then Coventry come back and even things up with a great work from Neil Martin, who we didn't see in the third period.
No solo effort from Neil Martin. You know, that whole play started when the Blaze had a lot of the puck, but then here's the deciding moment. That's what Paul Thompson said. Instead of
turning point.
Yeah, instead of playing the forehand just up the board in a simple play, Trevor just tries to be a little fancy, and Steve Thornton with a great finish, and there's a turning point of the game.
We saw a couple of points that could be turning point, but that is the one that the Coventry Blaze started to hang their heads.
I happen to think that the goal that wasn't a goal was another big one, but Paul Thompson certainly thought
we
that
did talk about that was in the second period. But the Basingstoke Bison in the second period getting off to another good start, and
another scrappy one. Greg Owen getting the shot through traffic there. Well, the shot comes through traffic, and Greg just helps it on its way. But Trevor again will be disappointed he didn't get more of that.
This is the goal that wasn't a goal. Good work from Owen, and then you can see the shot coming in on the far side. It definitely goes over the line, banks it off Koenig.
That's a goal. It's a goal. You know, Michael Hicks just got it wrong, but it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I think that's a goal every day of the week and twice on a Sunday.
And then the Basingstoke, they went lax, and Jonathan Weaver had an empty netter here. You can see because they were still fuming about the disallowed goal.
Well, that's a free goal. We commentated on the play, and Brad Cruikshank was hammering the linesman up on the corner. Nobody was mentally ready to get back into the game in the first shift. They get back. Free goal for Jonathan Weaver.
But in the third period, Basingstoke regained their composure. They kept going at Coventry, and they got a couple of goals as well.
They didn't get a couple of goals, Nick. They got a couple of gorgeous goals.
This is sweet.
These are Carly hot pants goals, I'm telling you now. What about that for a finish? In fact, that clip doesn't show the true goal because he catches it, he pulls a move, and it's just a fabulous goal by Chambers.
And then Stewart with another goal, beating Calder one-on-one, and then beating Koenig.
Look at that for a move.
Yeah.
Forehand, backhand, forehand. You know, you almost had to give Trevor a ticket back into the rink because he didn't know which way to go. Just a fabulous, fabulous goal.
Yeah.
I've seen this lad do that a couple of times. He's very, very good on the one-on-one. Underrated player, that Danny Stewart of Basingstoke.
I was so impressed with the way the Basingstoke Bison came out here. They obviously had a game plan, which was to make things look ugly and drag out an ugly win. They ended up getting a gorgeous win in front of the home crowd here. But they executed all. They won the little battles, and they executed Ryan Aldridge's game plan to a T.
Well, you know what, Braff? We mentioned him. Big bear of a defenseman. Nothing was getting past him. I thought Chambers and Braff were unsung heroes. Yeah,
Yep.
Owen played well, but everybody played well. They gave the man of the match to the whole team tonight. What a good decision that was, because the Basingstoke team, they deserve that.
Okay, well, you talked to both head coaches earlier on. Here's what they had to say.
Paul, obviously disappointed, but Basingstoke, the better team tonight.
Yeah, no excuses, Dave. Yeah, I thought at 1-1 we had a little bit more control, and then Trevor made that mistake. We gave up 2 short-handed goals. Our power play was not really clicking tonight. You know, a little bit one-dimensional. And Cruikshank played well for them. But, you know, give Basingstoke their credit. They were the better club tonight.
Koenig, a great goalie, but when something like that happens, do the heads drop a little on the bench?
Well, yeah, because I think at that time for about 10 minutes, we were getting pucks deep and we were cycling, we were getting scoring chances, and the momentum totally swung when that mistake happened. And you know, there's always pivotal parts of games, and you get a power play and you score off that, and you make the 2-1 lead. But it not to be, and it energised their team. But credit to Basingstoke, they worked the socks off tonight, and they won all the little battles. And you know, we were a little bit scrappy in areas tonight.
3-2 down, go into the third period. You need your big guns, but Neil Martin didn't come out. What's the situation with him?
Well, he took a bit of a hit to the head, so he looks like he's got a concussion. I'm going to find out off the doctor now. So that's another worry. But you know, injuries are part and parcel of this game. We won't use that as an excuse, and I know lots of other teams do, and we're hurting right now. But so is every team. Every team's been through it this year, and we've just got to get through it. And we've got a big game in Friday on Belfast, and you know, if we've only got 12 skaters, we'll go there and we'll give it what we've got.
Firstly, congratulations. That was a great Basingstoke performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, the boys definitely worked hard tonight, stuck to the system. Like I said before the game, you know, the shorter we are, the harder we work, and that's exactly what the boys did tonight.
Full of commitment, diving in front of pucks, but also playing smart as well.
Yeah, I think the best games we've played this year, when we're playing, you know, everyone's playing smart. We've made a lot of silly mistakes, and I think the boys have learned that now, and we've beat, you know, good teams when we've played, you know, defensive role first and been smart, stuck to the system.
The only lapse was perhaps after you thought you'd gone 4-1 up and then you quickly go 3-2 down, but you didn't let the heads drop, you kept on battling.
Yeah, that's it. The goal got called off, our goal got called off, and I think that got mentally to a couple of the guys, and after that, you know, they shut it down for a few seconds, but once they scored again, we picked our heads up and went back again.
And you can see now the league table heading into the weekend. Coventry Blaze not taking advantage of the one game that they had in hand. They still have 41 points, and they're still quite up there. And but Basingstoke now sweeping up into 7th spot.
Well, that's right, and you know, everybody's looking at 7 and 8. They want to finish in the top 8. That's where the playoffs are, and the whole Stingrays will be the most disappointed team this week.
And folks, if you can get out to any of these games, have a look. This is week 16, Saturday and Sunday on the 22nd and the 23rd. There's going to be some great games there.
Well, there is, you know, Nottingham going for 10 in a row on Saturday. Cardiff, Manchester, 2 teams who love the small rinks. We've already talked about Basingstoke, Sheffield and Hull, Edinburgh. And if you can make it to the Sheffield Arena on Sunday, the Bison are going to be here as well.
Okay, we have more hockey action coming your way here on Sky Sports. It's Friday the 28th of December, the Newcastle Vipers and the Manchester Phoenix, 7 p.m. Sky Sports Extra. Well, folks, we'd just like to say thank you for watching and have a very, very Merry Christmas from all of us here on Sky Sports. We'll see you next time.